The poet and visionary William Blake was born in Soho in 1757, not half a mile from where we gather this morning. Of a vast and varied multimedia output, he's perhaps best remembered for what we know as the hymn Jerusalem, and did those feet in ancient time, excerpted from the epic poem Milton and set in the 20th century to the music of Sir Hubert Parry. Strangely, nothing quite unites the English like Jerusalem. Sacred and secular, state events at Westminster Abbey and the ordinary parish wedding, Carlton Club and Labour Party conference, from lusty renditions on the stands of Twickenham, or indeed last night at the Principality Stadium, from that to the warblings of kids' choirs and mothers' unions across the land. A strange rallying cry in a way, with an added dose of irony in that neither Blake nor Parry ever had very much time for organised religion. In fact, the latter, he who was responsible for that now ubiquitous "I was glad," was so nauseated by the Church of England that he even refused to attend his own daughter's baptism. I often know where he's coming from. Jerusalem, we move now to a broader sense of the word, on various levels means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. Theologically, eschatologically, historically, politically, and practically. Past, present, and future, we are in a sense both united and divided by its ineluctable draw. And Jerusalem as holy city, a vision of what heaven will be and what earth might be, is set against the horror of what the worldly Jerusalem has been and is. Jerusalem, the shining ideal of what humanity is called toward, called to be. Jerusalem, the sad reflection of what and where we are. So we oughtn't to be surprised that Scripture unites impassioned opposites about the holy city. The call to rejoice with Jerusalem in Isaiah. If I forget thee, O Jerusalem, let my right hand forget her cunning. Psalm 137. Jerusalem, the holy hill, the city of our God, surest joy and true pole of the earth. Psalm 48. In this morning's gospel, the Lord despairs, laments over Jerusalem. Jerusalem, Jerusalem, which killest the prophets, and stonest them that are sent unto thee, how often would I have gathered thy children together, as a hen doth gather her brood under her wings, and ye would not. It harks back to Isaiah 64. Zion has become a wilderness, Jerusalem a desolation, and prefigures the Lord's warning in Luke 21 of Jerusalem encompassed with armies. Desolation thereof is nigh. There shall not be left here one stone upon another. Matthew 24. Jesus anticipates in today's gospel passage some of the contradictions of Holy Week, which is to come, for which we prepare ourselves in this holy season of Lent. The striking volte-face between Palm Sunday and the days that follow. The Lord's lament is sincere, a lament over the sin that continues to disfigure the world, and in which we continue to choose to participate. But within it is secreted the radical promise of He who came to take away our sin by immersing himself in, subjecting himself to its worst consequences. Lament and exaltation strangely united. That dark image alongside that lovely image of the mother hen. We're reminded of the unfathomable dimensions of the dark conundrum from which we have been saved and are being saved, set free from the fowler's snare. Just as it is in the midst of Abram's deep and terrifying darkness that the Lord makes his great promise to him and his seed forever, so the Lord's words this morning are at the same time a rebuke, a call to do better, and a proof of just how much he loves us. Jerusalem, whatever Jerusalem means, clarifies and baffles, unites and divides. It makes us look back, look forward to the future, and demands our attention in the present. It condemns us, condemns others, and offers us solace at the same time in the grace that is our only hope and salvation. Let us learn from the Lord's lament over Jerusalem and take heart at the baffling unity that William Blake's strange poem evokes. Let Jerusalem impassion our ideals, quicken us in our fight for good, for justice in this world, and yet also remind us of our own limitations, not to be blind to the reality of others different from ourselves, and that they have ideals too. It takes a lot to make a world, and we should be careful of making Jerusalem in our own image. Let all this ambivalence make us keen for clarity, ambitious for holiness, but at the same time allow it to make us gentle with ourselves, gentle too with others, knowing the love for and through which we are saved. We all live in certain important senses, creatively, difficultly, intention, certainty and sortedness have their appeal, but it's not especially human. We're called to combine a wholesome self-discipline, an awareness of what Jerusalem calls upon us to achieve, both personally and politically in the here and now, with a confidence in the undeserved glory lavished upon us in the heavenly Jerusalem and its promises. There's a good deal to be gleaned from the reality that so many different people sing and did those feet in ancient time with different levels of conviction and from different perspectives. A gospel good that reminds us of the breadth and depth of the Lord's love expressed in that lament. It misses the point to pour knowing historical scorn on Blake's question, and did those feet in ancient times. The hymn means rather to intensify our experience of Jesus' incarnation, its locality, its personality, its reality, to rouse us to live for our ideals, but to be real enough to know that our own ideals aren't everything and sit alongside those of others. I will not cease from mental fight, nor shall my sword sleep in my hand, a bold Christian claim and a true one, but one that we do in community and with an eye on the perfected Jerusalem that is to come.